He told my medic he was going to shoot me in the face. So back in 2008, Uncle Sam decided it was my turn to go back to Iraq. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Army. I loved soldiers. Hell, I even loved most of the misery that came with it. This is how we vets have the embrace the suck bond. Because we know about the bad and the reality most movies fail to portray. But after 20-something years, I really wasn't trying to become one of those cautionary tales. You know the ones, where soldiers are walking and one says, "Yo, you remember Sergeant Matthews, man? He's gone. Word. Yeah, gang. IED. Nope. Not after 20 years of service. Funny how our minds change when the proper motivation enters the room. And thus, let me explain. See, I happen to know a guy, and that guy knew another guy. Turns out the other guy was the branch manager. He says, "Bro, I got you." And just like that, no longer heading back to Fort Bragg. I'm heading to Fort Hood, Texas, a place I'd been trying to get assigned to for years. Now, the 13 Mike community is a small community, and my coming to Hood was a big deal. I was no LeBron James, but I was good. I knew it, and the powers that be knew it. So when word got around I was going to Hood, some of my former students were like, "Damn, even that POS we called P-Virus spotted his pants." Yeah, I was that guy. See, most of these boys had gone through school under me years before, and I have to be honest with y'all. The Department of the Army dragged me out of the combat zone, and that's no exaggeration. Military escort to a C-17. My commanders admired my loyalty and dedication, but this move was out of their hands. To be fair, my first impression to those young soldiers was that I was batshit crazy. Hence, I coined the word psychologics. One day, I'm sitting in the back of a classroom, just watching. All I see are heads bobbing. It could have been the heat. It could have been some really dry teaching. Regardless, we weren't going to be the next task force, Smith. So, me being me, I jump up and scream, "Incoming!" Kick over a desk, and commence to losing my gosh darn mind, spitting and foaming at the mouth, rambling on about sleeping in the foxhole. At the time, my instructors had never seen combat. They were green. So when I started wigging out, they were just as confused as the student. I yelled, "Shut off the fans and close the damn door. It's party time." And I commenced smoking the dog shit out of the entire class. Now for you civilians, a smoke session ain't about cigarettes. It's about the steam and the sweat coming off those heads as I in cadence count push-ups. Ah, those were the days. And before anybody asks, no, it wasn't authorized. But this was my track, and I was the HMFIC. Yeah. By the time I got done, half of them hated me, a quarter wanted to fight me, and the rest would have followed me straight to the moon, jumping in with no oxygen and no parachute. If your soldiers don't trust you, they will hesitate. And hesitation in combat, and let me remind you, there's no respawn for the real thing. You feel me? I assumed someone would snitch, but surprisingly, no one did. However, after lunch, as we did roll call, we noticed there was a missing soldier. This put Fort Sill on lockdown. Not only are we missing a soldier, but we are also missing a soldier with an assault rifle. As a side note, he wasn't one of my students. Now, I don't understand every brilliant policy created by stars and bars, but letting privates walk around with assault rifles in garrison, not sure what that message was. Even in combat, our rifles were under lock and key when we weren't out on patrol. But nobody asked the smoke man. I have always been a lean forward in the foxhole kind of leader, so I took my students and posted guards around the building, and I gave them very simple instructions. No one comes in, no one goes out. Now these boys had bought into the foundation I'd laid. Maybe too much, because when the drill sergeant showed up, they got denied entry. Oh, these dudes lost their minds. Fortunately for me, they didn't outrank me, and this was my house. But, to be fair, those were their soldiers. So I understood why they were hot. The sense of urgency was paramount. If that missing soldier wasn't found, somebody's career was ending. Yet, my boys stood fast. Maybe to their own detriment after all this was over, but I was proud nonetheless. Eventually, they found this sad sack soldier. Get this, he was hiding in a bush by the dog kennel. Give him an A+ for camouflage and a C- for escape and evasion. Now you are asking why I tell you this story. It's all about context, my boy, context. Fast forward about 2 years. I'm now on Fort Hood, ready to go to work. My first sergeant, who I actually worked with back at the NCO Academy years ago, was filling me in on my new platoon. The outgoing platoon sergeant was young and lacked, as he put it, motivational skills. Now, I'm not going to bore y'all with all the details. Just know we went from the rest to the best, or as I like to say, from ass to gas. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't an easy transition. I had to show them the method to my madness, and when they saw, I just didn't talk about it, but I walked it. We eventually called ourselves the Hitman Platoon because anybody could get it. So the word comes down. We are going on an 18-month deployment, and I'm like, nope. See, I was close to retirement, and I wasn't about to be that cautionary tale. Nah, not happening, bro. But then the guilt trip started. Smoke, how are you going to just leave us hanging? There ain't no way you're retiring. You gotta roll. And there it was, a quandary. I could have retired, but loyalty goes both ways. Next thing you know, we're on a plane headed back to Iraq. Quick summary, our LT couldn't deploy due to medical issues, and his replacement, well, let's just say, he had the wrong impression of whose platoon this was. I explained to him that as long as he shut up and did what I said to do, I would make him look like a star. But did he listen? Nope. He had to do things his way. After returning from our first patrol, he was reprimanded and caught a bad case of the lemon booty, which simply means he was tight with his attitude. This led to his removal. Back in Kuwait during the training event, he got 85% of our platoon smoked in training, which is not cool. Oh, I lit into his ass that day. And yes, my team and I survived. However, between that and his inability to make logical decisions, the command recognized he belonged inside the wire and behind a desk. After about a month in Iraq, we moved about 3 hours away from FOB Delta and occupied a checkpoint. Combat ain't always about bullets and explosions. Sometimes it's 120-degree heat, combat fatigue, soldiers crying because their wives left them. You know, normal combat and external circumstantial non-combat nonsense. Despite all that, I took care of my guys. I was still leading even after getting an IV when we got a batch of bad water. It was never a you, it was always a we thing. I didn't miss patrols, and I ate the same crap they ate. And during those first few months, I was the buffer from the battalion's bullshit. First Platoon developed a reputation, in and outside the wire, and I had built a team that was a reflection of me. I wasn't difficult to figure out, but at times I did not play nice with others. And when my commander and I fell out, my platoon and I were exiled to a combat outpost near the Iran-Iraq border. Now, that's a story all by itself. There, we ran constant 24-hour ops, PSYOP missions on the border, and on an occasion, embedded with special forces. Honestly, it made us harder and meaner. We were all we had, and that's all that mattered. We had one disloyal human from our group who decided he wasn't coming back after R&R, which left me short-handed. But he spent more time in the wire, and truthfully, we didn't need him. But numbers mattered, and we plussed up by 4. I'm pretty sure at some point you've heard the phrase, combat made me paranoid. Well, I say, combat made me aware. And awareness was telling me something. One of these replacements wasn't right. And that's where things started getting interesting. Now I know some of y'all are thinking, Brian, how can you say combat made you aware and not paranoid? Easy. Paranoid people imagine things. Awareness allows you to get that 180 degrees of perspective. And from the moment those replacements arrived, the little goofy sergeant just seemed off. Now, I didn't have proof. Hell, I couldn't even explain it. But after 20 years of Army life, combat, and dealing with all kinds of personalities, I had learned to trust my gut. And my gut was saying, pay attention. I reached back to one of my contacts over at FOB Delta and got the skinny on him. This cat was newly promoted to sergeant, and this was his first deployment. It might have been that raw recruit energy I was feeling. Then my guys started complaining. Now, I don't care who you are. These are my guys. As bad as it sounds, he was still an outsider, and we treated him that way. Once again, my guys always followed me. Then I started to hear, this dude sucks. He doesn't have a clue. Now, before y'all think I was biased, let me answer that. Absolutely, I was completely. Those were my boys, and I make no apologies for that. One day, I happened to be sitting there and watched this joker absolutely tear into one of my soldiers. Now here's where he screwed up. That soldier was my gunner, and there was no way in hell I was letting that slide. So I called him into the team tent, and I lit him up. Now the look on his face told me he wasn't expecting that smoke. Then I asked him something simple. Recite the creed of the non-commissioned officer. Crickets. Nothing. For you civilians, that's like asking a doctor to explain CPR and him saying, there ain't no way in hell a sergeant passes a board and doesn't know the creed. Ain't happening. So right then and there, I unofficially promoted him back to specialist. An overpaid specialist. Zero authority. And I made sure my junior leaders understood exactly where he stood. Now some of y'all are probably saying, bro, that's harsh. Maybe. And maybe I should have pulled him aside and mentored him? Probably not. That's what leaders do when they see potential. But something about this dude was all wrong. And I wasn't the only one who felt it. Weeks went by, and I stayed on that ass, no mercy. One morning, my medic pulled me aside. Now, when your medic says, hey, Smoke, we may have a problem, you listen. I said, what's up? He said, have you noticed you're never alone? I laughed. I said, yeah, I figured it was my winning personality. He just stared at me. No, Smoke. These guys are watching you. And that's when he told me. The old boy had made a statement that he was sick of my shit and he was going to shoot me in the face. Now, I'm not going to lie. That got my attention. But what does my medic say next? That's what concerned me. He said, the guys hate this dude so much, they're waiting. If he tries it, they're going to kill him. And at that moment, I wasn't worried about myself. I was worried one of my soldiers would accidentally shoot himself, have a negligent discharge, and end up with a bigger mess. So I called for Mac and Al. And that's where things got really interesting. Now let me paint the picture for you. We're out at this combat outpost. Everybody is armed, everybody is tired, and apparently everybody but me knew I had my own personal security detail. Did I say combat made me aware? Not funny. My boys had decided amongst themselves that if old goofy sergeant tried to follow through with his threat, they were going to smoke him. Now, if you've ever had to explain to higher headquarters why one soldier shot another soldier, then you understand why this concerned me more than the threat itself. Almost like Denzel doing a barrel roll in Boeing 747 while high on cocaine. Great for the movies, but for reality, damn. because I already knew my boys were loyal to a fault. And once they decided you were family, that was that. So I called my two trusted sergeants, Mac and Al. Hey, I just made y'all famous. Go ahead and share the story. I simply said, go get him. Both of them walked off with half smiles on their face, which should have told me they were enjoying this way too much. I said, tell him to report. Now for you civilians, report means knock on the door, come to attention, salute. It's essentially establishing a protocol of who is in charge. Anyway, back to the story. Knock, knock, knock. Enter. He walks in, comes to attention, and salutes. Sergeant blah blah reporting. I return the salute. I reach into my pocket and pull out a piece of paper. I start reading him his rights. You have the right to remain silent. Then I stopped, reached over, unholstered my 9, racked the slide, and placed it on the desk. Before some lawyer starts foaming at the mouth, calm down. This plays like a movie, but we are at a combat outpost 5 hours from anywhere significant. You feel me? HMFIC, my rules. The look on this fool's face was priceless. The blood drained right out of him. My boy was ghost white. I asked him, did you say you were going to shoot me in the face? Now this monkey fart started stuttering, tripping over his words, looking everywhere but at me. And I said, shut the funk up. My soldiers don't like you. Something about you is off. You don't know the creed. You couldn't lead flies to shit. And you're weak. Like I said, combat didn't make me paranoid. Combat made me aware. Big difference.